guys, the Black Critic Guy, back with a brand new video once again. Yeah, isn't it crazy how many videos I have been shooting out these past few weeks? I'm honestly stunned. I've been dormant for so many years and I've only made videos now and again, but the fact that I've been this consistent for this long, insane. It is crazy. I'm delighted that I've been making these many videos. I hope you guys have been enjoying them as well. You know, I just really got this sudden urge to start making videos again. It's like my creative renaissance in a sense. Honestly, now I think about it, I want to give a shout out to Big Ken Talks. I think he was the genesis that led to this sudden BCG resurgence in content and creativity. If it wasn't for his interview, which I'll post in the description below so you can go check it out yourself. If it wasn't for his interview and really motivating me and encouraging me to come back into YouTube, urging me to make more videos, telling me like, hey man, we miss your content, you should do more of it, I don't know if this would have happened. So, you know what? Shout out to Big Ken Talks. He makes he does some fantastic interview videos. He talks a lot of great things. Go check him out. Subscribe to his channel. Tell him BCG sent you. Anywho, let's get to this video, shall we? So, 4 years ago, during the pandemic and during BCG Disney Week, huh? Remember that? Who knows if that's gonna be coming back, huh? Wink, wink, wink. I did a video where I reacted to an article by, I think it was Collider, and they ranked all of the Disney animated features that were released at the time. And most people really liked that video, myself included. I liked how it turned out. I really enjoyed the reactions that I had to the list. I mean, there were some outrageous placements. I mean, seriously, The Fox and the Hound was second to last as one of the worst Disney films. Bullshit. But even more bullshit is freaking Sleeping Beauty being number 2. All time ranked number 2. Ludicrous. Over so many other more well-deserving Disney films. Just saying. If you want to check out that video, there'll be a link in the description, or maybe even at the end of this video. This might actually turn out to be a series. So, I've been really itching to react to another article that's ranking either movies, characters, films, etc. So I asked you guys on my YouTube community page and on my Twitter to basically send me suggestions. Find articles that I could react to and give my opinions on. And there were 3 that really stood out. You probably can see all 3 of them if you look really closely. The other 2 I'll make into videos and I'll probably spread them out like once a week. Like do it once a week. So, very fittingly, since, you know, it's been kind of a Marvel weekend lately, a Marvel week with the release of Deadpool and Wolverine and, of course, the outrageous news that Robert Downey Jr. is going to be Dr. Doom, which I've already made 2 videos about. I will be reacting to this article on IndieWire.com that's ranking all 34 of the Marvel movies in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It says right there, this is every title in the Marvel Cinematic Universe ranked. This actually was just released 4 days ago based on my time. It's July 30th here. By the time this video comes out, it'll be like probably July 31st or August 1st. But 4 days ago. So this is fairly recent. I don't know if they saw Deadpool and Wolverine, if it's going to make the rankings list. We'll have to wait and see. I also want to just say, please don't send any hate towards any of the writers that you see on this, or not that you see on this, but don't look them up and give them hate for their ranking, okay? They're people with their own opinion. We can agree with them and disagree with them. Now, I've not read this article at all. I'm going in completely blind. So I am curious to see how they're going to rank all these films. So without further ado, without any more rambling, let's get to the rankings. So I'm going to scroll now. Also, before I start too, I wonder, it doesn't mention here if they have a system. Now let me see if, just scroll down a little bit. Okay, editor's note. Oh, this was published in May of 2023. It's been, so they have seen Deadpool and Wolverine. Alright, so do they have like a criteria? I'm just reading through real quick this first part. It's a daunting task, no duh. Let's see, wade through the Disney Plus shows, okay. Let's see, for massive crossovers, okay, the editorial contributions, so, okay. Do they not mention any of, like, how they want to do this, how they're gonna rank it? What's the criteria for placement here? Alright, here we go. I guess there's none. We're gonna just keep going. Alright, so this first one, number 33, Eternals. I'll be honest, I haven't seen Eternals, and who knows, it may be that bad, but for some reason, I feel like this is kind of an unfair placement. I think, personally, the worst Marvel film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe is Thor: The Dark World. And the reason I think it's the worst is because it is so damn forgettable. Like, tell me honestly, what do you remember about Thor: The Dark World? Besides the ether. There's dark elves, Loki's in jail, the queen dies. I remember that kinda. But I don't even remember any of the fight scenes. I don't really remember what was Jane doing. I know she was trying to find something, but what was she trying to find? I know that the old white guy, he went crazy for some reason because he was. I don't know. I feel like that should be here. It should be at the bottom of this list. Also, 33. I thought it was the 34. I guess they're including Deadpool somewhere else. I don't know. But, I don't know. I disagree with Eternals being number 33. It mentions who fights who, and it mentions that. Good to watch if you like. The trailer for the exact movie, if that. Worth visiting for is Brian Tyree Hill. Okay. Again, I don't agree with this placement. Let's move on. Number 32, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. Maybe. Maybe. Because it's definitely not a good film. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it is not a good film. That I do agree. It meanders. The only thing worth watching about it was the main villain, and now we can't even watch it for him because it's Jonathan Majors. So, oh well. And let's see. Worth revisiting for Watch This Space. Quantumania is recent and bad enough that its larger purpose has yet to be revealed if it exists. So, okay. Even they have nothing nice to say. Let's see, moving on. Deadpool and... Whoa. At the bottom of the list? At the bottom. No, this is way too low. Look, I know it just came out, but you can't go the other extreme. I'm not saying it needs to be like in the top 10, but it doesn't need to be in the bottom 10 either. I personally think it should be somewhere near the teens or the 20s. But 32 is way too... That's recency bias in the negative way. That's recency bias in the negative way. I feel like they're being a bit too critical. I don't know. I disagree with this one. I don't think it's definitely not 32. It should at least be in the teens or in the high 20s or the low teens. That's what I was saying. Let's see. What? No, the Marvels need to... The Marvels is not... Woo! Here we go. The Marvels is not... The Marvels is not better than Deadpool and Wolverine. You're out of your fucking mind if you think The Marvels is better than Deadpool and Wolverine. The Marvels. A movie that literally bombed opening day and no one gives a shit about it. Including myself. What the fuck? Number 30? And The Incredible Hulk is way better than The Marvels. The Incredible Hulk is way... This is a bad placement. If anything, now that I think about it, this should be the last one. Because let's go back through the list. I think Eternals is better than this. I think Eternals is better than this. I think Quantumania is better than this. I think Deadpool and Wolverine is better than this. And I for sure think The Incredible Hulk is better than the Marvels. This should be at the bottom. It should be number 34, 33, whatever the number is. That's disgusting. What the hell is the Marvels at 30? That is way too high for it. Worth visiting. The inexplicable music number and the return of Goose the... No! The music number, that was one of the worst scenes in the movie. That they go to a planet where in order to communicate, you have to sing. Like, lame. No. That's not worth revisiting. That's something that would make me want to stay far away from it. Alright, see, this one should be lower. There's no way in any universe you're gonna tell me Thor the Dark World is better than freaking Deadpool and Wolverine. Deadpool and Wolverine has rewatch factor. Who's gonna say, you know what MCU film I really want to rewatch today? Thor the Dark World. No one's saying that, bro. Nobody is saying that at all. Thor the Dark World needs to be in the bottom of this list. It needs to be in the 30s. 29 is way too high for freaking Thor the Dark World. Worth revisiting. Unexpected Endgame resonance. The Chris O'Dowd cameo. Darcy? No! Darcy? Really? The most annoying character? Probably in the entire MCU. Darcy might be the most annoying character. And there's a reason why you haven't seen Darcy since Thor the Dark World. It was done intentionally. Nobody liked Darcy. That's not a reason to go back to watch Thor the Dark World. Loki is really the only reason to go back and watch Thor the Dark World. Because Tom Hiddleston, his performance in the film, I really liked. That's terrible. Terrible placement. Terrible. Doctor Strange is 20... What? Why is People hate Doctor Strange way too much. People hate Doctor Strange way too much. Why is it number 28? It's way too low. I don't know why. Where did this hate for Doctor Strange come from? Well, is it because there's not a lot of action? Is it because there's a lot of talking in it? Like, Doctor Strange was the first Marvel movie where I like the fact that they actually had a villain where his reasoning made even the main character question whether or not he was doing the right thing. He turned one of the good guys into a bad guy. I like the ending, the third act, how they defeat Dormammu is one of the most clever things I've ever seen in a Marvel Cinematic Universe movie. It didn't end in a gigantic fist fight or a climactic battle for the world. It was clever, it was ingenious, it was methodical, very fitting for Doctor Strange. And again, it's just incredibly clever. Incredibly clever. This is way too low. I think the characters in Doctor Strange are really entertaining. I really like them. I found the story very compelling. And again, I like the fact that we actually get to see the perspective of the villains. And their perspective doesn't sound wrong. Like, it sounds believable. And I like the fact that the main character is not only challenged physically, but he's challenged intellectually. How many other Marvel Cinematic Universe films are like that? By the way, where is Iron Man 2? Iron Man 2 should be somewhere around here. That was really forgettable. Iron Man 2 and Thor the Dark World need to be somewhere here. I swear to God, if I see Captain America on the low end of this list, I'm going to be really freaking mad. But like, Doctor Strange is way too low. Way too low. Avengers Age of Ultron. No, this should be higher. This should be like in the teens. I feel like we hate on this movie a bit too much. I think it's a lot better than we remember it being. I get it, there's some awkwardness, there's some silly antics that kind of wear thin. The quipping can get a bit much, and the story loses focus a lot. But Ultron is a very interesting second villain for this series. He was funny. he was fascinating. His ideologies were interesting. I get that they squandered Quicksilver and they didn't do much with Wanda either. And, you know, there are things about the movie that aren't really that good. Like that whole farm scene, while it was nice and all, it was just too slow. And I hate the fact that Nick Fury basically had nothing to do throughout the entire film. He was completely sidelined. But man, that scene where the Vision talks to the last living Ultron, or the last robot that Ultron was able to control, that was a great speech. And that line about how a thing isn't beautiful because it lasts, that I like that line. That was a very well written line. I don't think it should be number 27. This is too low for it. Worth revisiting the party scene, the prima nocta joke, and surprisingly a lot of groundwork for Infinity Stone's heart. Yep. Jesus Christ, Thor: Love and Thunder at 26 is too high. Too high. It needs to be higher, or lower, sorry. It needs to be lower. No, it's too high. I disagree with this so much. It's too high. 26, no. This is everything that I warned everybody about with Thor Ragnarok, which I know for a fact on this list, Thor Ragnarok's probably going to be like in the top 10. Watch. It's going to be in the top 10. But Thor: Love and Thunder, no. It should be like lower than this. Because Deadpool and Wolverine is better than this film. Unequivocally. I would even argue The Incredible Hulk is better than this film. Why is Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness higher than Doctor Strange? Why is that? I don't get that. Why is this one higher than Doctor Strange? This is not better than Doctor Strange. I'm sorry. It's not better than Doctor Strange. This is not better than Deadpool and Wolverine, I think. You know, if we're going to talk a multiversal movie, this one's not better than Deadpool and Wolverine. This one actually should be a lot lower as well. Sorry. I enjoyed it, but it doesn't have a lot of rewatch value. Doesn't have a lot of replay value. The story, I feel like they could have done better with the story. That whole scene where they go to that other universe and we meet Mr. Fantastic, Professor X, and they all act like complete idiots when they're fighting the Scarlet Witch. I mean, they literally call him the smartest man in the world. And what does the smartest man in the world do? Well, he tells his enemy, hey, you see this guy next to me? This is Thunderbolt. And with one word from his mouth, he could kill you. And what does she do? The girl that can manipulate reality shuts his mouth up. Duh. Why would you tell your enemy the one thing that could affect them? Why would you give them that opening like that? Don't spell out your attack to the enemy. That's how you lose. Oh, I'm gonna slice you down the middle and then back up and down. Stupid. Smartest man in the universe, my ass. Let's see. Well, he was the smartest man in the world. Iron Man 2. No, this one needs to be lower again. Iron Man 2 needs to be way lower. Doctor Strange is better than Iron Man 2. Doctor Strange is better than Iron Man 2. What in the world is Iron Man 2 doing at 23 when Doctor Strange is much lower than it? Iron Man 2 needs to be lower. It needs to. Also, I would argue Deadpool and Wolverine is better than Iron Man 2. I just would. It's better than Iron Man 2. So this needs to be lower. This needs to be lower. Alright. But, whoa, 22? Hell no. Hell no. Black Widow does not deserve to be number 22. This is another one that needs to be lower. There's nothing remarkable about Black Widow. It was 5 years too late. Honestly, it was 5 years too late. They should have released this in 2015 or 2016 during the height of Black Widow's popularity. After being in the Avengers and after the Winter Soldier, we were all screaming for a Black Widow movie. That's when you should have made it, not after the character died. And 2 years after she died, too. I know the movie was supposed to come out in 2020, pandemic, blah, 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 blah. But still, the fact that it was released 2 years after the fact. It was just too little too late. Not to mention, what's so special about this movie? The best thing about the movie was the Russian version of Captain America. That's it. Everything else is like boring. Heavy CGI, ridiculous action set pieces, a stupid scene where she breaks her nose because apparently he can control girls through his smell. That's why he stinks, I guess. It's a bad movie. The fact that it's not lower, like, I kid you not, I would prefer watching Eternals over Black Widow. Because at least the Eternals was trying something. It was trying something. Now, it didn't do it effectively, but it was trying something. Which is more than I can say about Black Widow, which was just by the numbers and just playing all the classics. Oh, high-octane action scenes that are basically rip-offs of what we did in Winter Soldier, but not as good. So, this needs to be lower. Deadpool and Wolverine's better than it. Again, The Eternals is better than it. Doctor Strange is better than it. Doctor Strange at least tried to be unique. And I still think it succeeded at being unique. It had an interesting premise, interesting villains, great main character, visually spectacular. I'm not going to get over the fact that Doctor Strange is so low on this list. Iron Man 3 is number 20. Iron Man 3 is number 20. Look, I remember liking this film when it came out, but looking back at it in retrospect, again, it's just decent. It's nothing truly remarkable. There's some nice scenes. I like that he created a robot or not a robot, but he created a suit that can break into pieces and then form around him. There were some funny scenes. I actually like the twist with the Mandarin. I know they later have gone on to renege that twist and just say, oh yeah, that was the fake Mandarin. Here's the real Mandarin. And I'm fine with that. I'll live with it. But I like that approach that the Mandarin turns out to be an actor. He's a phony. I liked that twist. I know a lot of people didn't. I liked that twist. But once again, respectfully speaking, what the fuck is Iron Man 3 doing at number 20? It's in the top 20. What? No. This is not in the top. This should be in the bottom 15, honestly. No. Number 20. Again. Doctor Strange is better than this film. Doctor Strange is better than this film. I'm sorry. This one, no. Doctor Strange is better than this film. I would even argue The Incredible Hulk is better than this film. I would rather watch that than Iron Man 3 again. No, this should be higher. I think this should be higher. I would argue it should be in the top 15. Sorry, I just realized Homecoming and Far From Home is higher than this film. Because I haven't seen them yet. I'm sorry, but this film is better than Far From Home. I'm just saying, this film is better than Far From Home. This should be a lot higher. It should be in the teens. Far From Home should be in this spot, honestly. Homecoming, I mean, you could argue, because the villain is so good. I think the story, that's the tightest the writing has been for any of the home films. I really liked Peter Parker's growth in that film. I liked his journey. The ending fight I thought was really cool. I like the fact that the villain didn't die, because villains always seem to have to die for some reason. So I like that. He grew a lot. I liked it. That scene, man, where the Falcon. Yes, Sam Wilson's a villain. No, the scene where the Vulture figures out that Peter Parker is Spider-Man when he's like driving in the car. God, that scene was so tense. And what a great twist, too. I would have never suspected that the Vulture was his love interest's father, considering she is dark-skinned complected. I guess she's half, right? But, okay, yeah, Homecoming should be higher than No Way Home, but No Way Home should not be number 19. Far From Home is a much worse film than No Way Home. Also, I would also argue, Not better than Doctor Strange. Not better than Doctor Strange, just saying. Okay, worth revisiting for 2 decades worth of on-screen Spidey nostalgia. Yes, obviously. Alright, Ant-Man. Ant-Man? No. Number 18? No. The Ant-Man should be in the 20s along with Ant-Man and the Wasp. In fact, it should have been right after Ant-Man and the Wasp, now that I think about it. It's a fun little heist film. It would have been better if Edgar Wright got to make the film, but... yeah, no, not number 18. Again, Doctor Strange is better than this film. No Way Home is better than this film. Deadpool and Wolverine is better than this film. This should not be that high. That is ridiculous. A tight, compelling, hilarious origin story in under 2 hours, which now feels unthinkable. Man, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, kindly, that is not a reason why it's worth revisiting, because it's under 2 hours. Like, come on, man. Captain Marvel. Number 7. No. Number 17. Too generous. You're being too generous to Captain Marvel. Nothing. I don't even hate this film, but it's not better than a lot of the films that were just mentioned earlier. It's not better than Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not better than Doctor Strange. It's not better than Spider-Man Far From Home. It's not. It's not better than any of those 3 films. This should... in fact, it's not even better than Age of Ultron, which is lower than this film. No. Captain Marvel... the problem with Captain Marvel, it was a divisive film. It wasn't trying to unify the community. It was trying to create spaces where, like... it was trying to be more than it should have been, honestly. That's what I feel like. And I don't like films that always push agendas so much. This film definitely felt like it was pushing an agenda. The only thing worth watching about Captain Marvel isn't even the movie, but the tribute at the beginning to Stan Lee. That's it. That's the only reason to watch the film. And wait, I know. Samuel L. Jackson is definitely worth watching. Is definitely worth watching in this film. I liked his banter with... oh shoot, I'm blanking out on her name. See, I can't even... Carol Danvers. There we go. His banter with Carol, really good, really strong. I thought both of them had good chemistry with each other, but the action is blasé, the story is boring, the villains suck. There's really no good villain in the film. And once she really realizes her full potential, she's damn near unstoppable, and that makes her boring. No, number 17 is way too generous, way too high. See, even they mention it. Worth revisiting for Jackson and Larson's undeniable buddy cop chemistry, and again with the fucking cat. Civil War at 16? Really? No. This needs to be in the top 10. This needs to be in the top 10, honestly. I had my grievances with the fact that it didn't follow the Civil War story faithfully, but for an adaptation of Civil War, they did a decent job. Not the best job, but a decent job, particularly with the universe they molded with the cinematic universe. I love practically everything about the film. Now, after rewatching it a couple times, the action is some of the best in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. The conflicts I felt like were really down to earth. That whole scene where we discover it was Bucky that killed Tony Stark's parents. What a reveal. And another way to stick it to the competition, they did the whole you killed my mother, or the whole parental trigger thing better than freaking Batman v Superman, where Superman stupid is like, Martha, and that triggers Batman. Here, the trigger makes way more sense. That line where he's like, I don't care, he killed my mother. Woo! I felt that. But I also agree with Captain America, it wasn't his fault. This guy was tortured, hypnotized, and forced to do things against his will. Bucky had no choice. He was literally a soldier for hire. He was a mindless killing machine, resurrected whenever they needed him to pull off a task or to do some type of like, I'm losing my words here, but whenever they needed something done, they would resurrect or they would basically unfreeze the Winter Soldier so that he can complete the task. And I think it's unfair to just say, well, you know, he killed his parents. I'm like, it's a little bit more complex than just he killed his parents. There's more to it. This should be a little higher. I really liked the execution of that airport scene. Still one of the best fight scenes in Marvel Cinematic history. Like, beautiful. The final fight between Tony and Steve, or even that that 2-on-1 scene where you see Captain America punching and then Bucky's punching him and he's just trying to recalibrate and stand up and fight both of them. Oh, so many. And then I haven't even mentioned that Black Panther's in the film. He was phenomenal. The introduction to Black Panther. This was the best movie featuring the Black Panther. Even better than Black Panther, in my opinion, which is way higher, it looks like, on the list, and it shouldn't be because it's not as good as Captain America Civil War, in my opinion. But yeah, this should be higher. I mean, none of the Spider-Man films are better than this, and Spider-Man shows up in this film. None of the Spider-Man films are better than this. I'm sorry, it's not. No Way, or Homecoming and Far From Home are not better than Civil War. I don't know. I feel like this should be higher. I feel like this deserves to be in the top 10. I love how they concluded the Guardians of the Galaxy story. How they concluded the Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy. It's honestly the most consistent and arguably the best trilogy in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, I don't think 14 is a... The fact that this is below No Way Home, or sorry, Far From Home and Homecoming, I disagree with that. This is a stronger film than both of those films. In fact, now that I think about it, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 should be higher than all of the Spider-Man films. Why are the Spider-Man films higher than the Guardians of the Galaxy films? They're better written, they're more memorable, they have way better, more memorable, and well-developed characters. The action is better than any of the Spider-Man movies. Like, I don't get it. The soundtrack is better, the direction is better, the writing is better. The Guardians of the Galaxy series is better than the Spider-Man series. The only reason the Spider-Man series makes more money than the Guardians of the Galaxy is because Spider-Man is an iconic Marvel character. That's it! That's the only reason it makes more money. Oh my god, this should not be number 14. Below Spider-Man Far From Home and Homecoming. And then, speak of the devil, there he is. No. Sorry, no. No. Not number 13. It should be either in the 20s or the high teens or low teens. Not number 13. Again, all the Guardians of the Galaxy films are better than it. Doctor Strange is better than Far From Home. Spider-Man No Way Home is better than Spider-Man Far From Home. Sorry, it just is. I like the angle that they took with the villain. I think the villain is very interesting. And there are some fascinating fight sequences. But other than that, I don't remember much of the movie. I know they mentioned the elementals in the movie. Outside of that one visual fight scene where he uses the drones to basically psych Peter out and like he's trying to fight him, but he can't really get a bearing on where he is. Like, that was visually interesting. That was a great scene. But other than that, like, again, there are so many movies before it that are better than it. No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. This should be in the top 5. How is it number 12? Most people would argue that Avengers Infinity War is the better movie between it and Endgame. And I would agree with that. It's better written, more tightly written, greater moments in my opinion. Okay. That one moment where all the heroes get together, okay, there's no moment like that in Infinity War. But again, it's better written. I love how cohesive the story is and how it doesn't feel overbearing or way too much. It does a great job at dividing the characters up and not putting too much on the audience. It gives you exactly what you need. The fight scenes are phenomenal. The acting is great. The snap is memorable. This needs to be in the top 5. The fact it's number 12 is... And it's lower than Homecoming. A film that is not better than it. There's no way. There's no way this is better. There's no way Homecoming is a better film than Infinity War. Also, I would say Captain America, The First Avenger, as much as I really do love that film, it's not better than Infinity War. It's not better than Guardians of the Galaxy Volumes 2 and 3. It's not. Not at all. Worth revisiting. Even though it's half of a whole, Infinity War is expertly paced. See, even they mention it. This should be so much higher. So much higher. Guardians of the... You put all the Guardians of the Galaxy films in the teens? Not one of them could crack the top 10? Really? None of them could crack the top 10? None? None of the Guardians of the Galaxy films could crack the top 10. That's bullshit. I'm calling shenanigans on that. There's no fucking way none of the Guardians of the Galaxy films don't make top 10? And I've yet to see Thor Ragnarok, Thor, Captain America, The First Avenger. I have yet to see any of these films on the list. And I promise you, none of the 3 films I just named is better than the first Guardians of the Galaxy and the third Guardians of the Galaxy. One of those 2 should at least be in the top 10. It's ridiculous to leave Guardians of the Galaxy out of the top 10. None of their films deserve to be in the top 10? What? Guardians of the Galaxy is the most refreshing franchise that the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever created because they took a bunch of nobodies and made them into iconic characters. Tell me the last time that's happened. All the other characters before them were already established, already well known. No one knew or gave a fuck about the Guardians of the Galaxy until their films were made. And once their films were made, they were in the public consciousness forever. You can't take them out now. Everybody will always remember Peter Quill, Star-Lord. Everybody will always remember Drax the Destroyer. Everyone's going to remember Gamora. Everyone's going to remember Rocket Raccoon. Who the fuck's going to forget about Groot? Come on, how is this number 11? It should be higher. What? It should at the very least, one of them should have been in the top 10. At the very least, one of them should have been in the top 10. And I just realized Homecoming is still not been shown. This film is better than Homecoming. What? Number 10? No. Iron Man, the first one? Iron Man, the first one. Top 5. I don't care what anybody says. Iron Man 2008 kickstarted the whole MCU. It was a breath of fresh air. It was inventive. It was exciting. It was fun. What a great character arc for Tony Stark. No. 10 is insulting to that film. And again, I haven't seen Homecoming yet. I haven't seen Thor. I haven't seen Captain America, The First Avenger. None of those 3 films are better than Iron Man. None of those 3 films are better than Iron Man. How is it number 10? There's no fucking way it's number 10. On the list? Number 10. Iron Man's number 10. Ooh, this is gonna be one hell of a top 10 list. Here we go. Number 10 is Iron Man. Okay, number 9 is Thor. Hell no. I just realized, did you put Thor Ragnarok in the top 5? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. I like Thor. The first film is very enjoyable. But out of all the origin films, I would argue it's the weakest. It's the one that's just by the numbers. It's okay. It's not incredible. It's not mind-blowing. The best thing about the film, honestly, is Loki. And his interactions with Thor. That's it. And his character arc's great. But the third act is terrible. The third act is boring, honestly. He fights that big thing inside the New Mexico desert. Then he goes back, destroys the bridge, fights with his brother a little bit. Like, it's such an underwhelming third act for what could have been an epic throwdown. Why is it number 9? It's not better than most of the Guardians of the Galaxy films, outside of maybe Volume 2. It's not better than Iron Man 1. It's not even better than No Way Home. No Way Home should be higher than this one. No, number 9 now. The event... The Avengers at number 8. The Avengers at number 8. The film that changed the world. Literally. This film was proof of concept that you can build a cinematic universe that all crescendos into a mega team-up film and it doesn't turn into a clusterfuck. 5 years of build-up. Multiple different franchises coming together, verging to the climax that is the Avengers. This was a moment in history. It had never been done before. Never. And it's number 8 on the fucking list. And once again, I don't see Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Homecoming is not better than the first Avengers. That's bullshit. The first Avenger is not better than the Avengers. And I'm a Captain America fan. I am a Captain America fan. No. Absolutely not. That's disrespectful to put the Avengers and Iron Man and the bottom tier of the top 10 when they honestly were the trailblazers that led the Marvel Cinematic Universe to the pinnacles that it was? Why are you being so disrespectful? Why are you being so disrespectful? Disgusting. No. Awful. Completely awful. Oh. I completely forgot about that film. I completely forgot about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Number 7. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings is number 7 over the Avengers, over Iron Man, over all of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. This ended up at number 7. How the fuck do you make sense of that? How? Not only is this incredible recency bias, but if we're talking on the level of quality, it is nowhere near those other 5 films I just mentioned. Doctor Strange is better than this film, and it's in the fucking bottom. How is Shang-Chi number 7 on this list? That is insane! What has this film done to deserve a top 10 spot over the Guardians? Over the Guardians of the Galaxy! They couldn't even break into the top 10. And yet here is Shang-Chi, a movie that just came out 3 years ago. And a film that I don't even think most people remember. And is it a bad film? No! But it should be like in the low 20s. Sorry, not the low, the high 20s or the low teens. Not in the top 10. It's not better. It's not better than the Avengers. Any of the Avengers. It's not better than any of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. And it's not better than Iron Man. Whoa. Number 7. This is why I asked if there was a criteria. And, you know, IndieWire, if you ever see this video, which I doubt, this is why you should make a criteria. So at least you can reason with me. Give me an explanation. Because you don't give me explanations here. This makes no sense. And I'm failing to see what could have driven you to say, yeah, Shang-Chi over Iron Man? Yeah. Shang-Chi over all the Guardians of the Galaxy films? Yeah. Shang-Chi over 2 of the Avengers films? Yeah. No, sorry, not 2. 3 of the 4 Avengers films. Yeah. Disgusting. One good fight scene does not make you a top 10 movie in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. One fucking fight scene does not make you a top 10 movie. One great villain does not make you a top 10 Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Because if that was the case, then Iron Man should be here. Freaking Doctor Strange should be here then. Oh man, I need to calm down. I'm getting so angry because I don't like this list. I really do not like this list. Number 6. Oh, so now you show up. I kept talking about you. I kept waiting to see you, hoping I would see you sooner than number 6. No. I've already explained why this is a terrible placement. It's not better than 28%, or sorry, not 28%. It's not better than 20 of the films before it. It's not better than 20 of them. It's not better than any of the Guardians of the Galaxy films. It's not better than any of it's not better than 2 out of the 3 Iron Man films. It's not better than Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not better than Doctor Strange. No. It's not better than 3 out of the 4 Avengers films. I like Homecoming, but let's be fucking reasonable. It's not a top 5, or sorry, not top 5, top 10. It's not a top 10 MCU film. It's not. And I'm sorry, I haven't seen it yet, but Captain America, the First Avenger, is not a top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe film. And again, love Captain America. But if we're going to be honest, if we're going to be critical here and be completely unbiased, it doesn't deserve to be in the top 5. Captain America, the First Avenger, does not deserve to be in the top 5, wherever it may place. And God help me if it's in the top 3. Okay, here we go. Top 5. The bane of my existence. How do you put Love and Thunder so low on this ranking list, and yet, Thor Ragnarok is number 5? Thor Love and Thunder is basically just Thor Ragnarok Part 2. It does exactly the same things that Thor Love and Thunder does. How in the fuck is it number 5? How is it better than 3 of the 4 Avengers films, including the first one? How is it better than any of the Guardians of the Galaxy films? How is it better than Doctor Strange? How is it better than Captain America Civil War? Just because it was a refreshing take on Thor does not make it better than those other films. Even if I disagree that it was a refreshing take on Thor, which it wasn't. It completely bastardized Thor. It turned him into a living joke, which is the worst thing you can do to a serious character like Thor. Thor's not ha-ha funny. He's not Deadpool. He's not Rocket Raccoon. He's not Peter Quill. He's Thor. And they never treated him like Thor in Thor Ragnarok. He was a goofy guy. Absolutely not. There's no fucking way I'm reading this right. Does that say Captain America the Winter Soldier? Here's the thing. That's a perfect placement for it. I dare say it is a top 5 Marvel Cinematic Universe film. But the fact that Captain America, the First Avenger, has not shown up on this list yet is disgusting. Because the first Avenger is not better than the Winter Soldier. If we're ranking Captain America films, Winter Soldier, Civil War, First Avenger. Winter Soldier, Civil War, First Avenger. I'm not even mad at its placement. I think this is a perfect placement. I would not change this placement. Perfect. Perfect. I would say it's perfect. Because it is better than most of the films that have been mentioned. Now, I think, you could argue maybe Iron Man could be better. But no, I think this is a perfect placement. But the fact that I've not seen Captain America the First Avenger. Captain America the First Avenger is not a top 3 Marvel Cinematic Universe film. Get the fuck out of here. But congratulations to the Winter Soldier making it into the top 5. Alright. What two films are better than Endgame? If you're gonna put it this high, what 2 films are better than Endgame? Look, I don't disagree with it being in the top 10, and I could argue it does deserve to be in the top 5. But if we're talking writing, Infinity War is better. Infinity War is better. It has more memorable moments. It has that great climax. That third act is gorgeous. The sacrifice is great. The action is great. The time traveling, time heist thing, great. Great. But fuck. What's better than Endgame? What 2 films are better than Endgame? It's number 2. No fucking way. 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 There is no fucking way Captain America, the First Avenger, is number 2 on this list. There's no fucking way. No fucking way. No fucking way. No fucking way. Iron Man 2008 is better than it. Endgame is better than it. All of the Avengers films are better than it. All the Guardians of the Galaxy films are better than it. Doctor Strange is better than it. Winter Soldier and Civil War completely surpass it. Writing-wise, story-wise, visually, action. Holy shit! How did Captain America the First Avenger get to number 2 over all of those other films? Number 2? You are talking to a fucking die-hard Captain America fan. You are talking to a die-hard Captain America fan. And I don't agree that it's number 2 on the list. I don't agree that it's number 2 on this list. That's ridiculous. How did it end up at number 2? Where's the criteria for choosing which gets to be where? What the fuck am I looking at? It's number 2 on the list. What's number 1? I would be surprised if I hadn't seen the rest of the list. I would have been surprised. How did I forget about Black Panther? I realized I didn't even see Black Panther until now. This is the best Marvel film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Are you serious? This is the best? This is the best. I mean, do I even need to say it's not the best? You want to talk about one of the most overrated Marvel movies? Black Panther is unquestionably the most overrated Marvel movie. It is honestly overrated. If I were to make a list of the top 5 most overrated Marvel films, Black Panther literally would be my number 1 choice. This film gets way too much accolades for a film that basically is just a decent story with a compelling villain. It's a decent story with a compelling villain. I'll say it again. A decent story with a compelling villain. That's it. The villain is great. I like what the villain does. I like how his ideology is very sound. He is bitter. He is angry. He felt like he was denied his birthright. He was a fascinating villain. But number 1, no. No! No. Literally 25 of the 34 other films are better than this film. I'm sorry, it's just true. It's just true. We're gonna forget about that CGI and how bad it looked? Really? We're gonna forget about the rhinos? We're gonna forget about that? No. Or how about that fucking terrible CGI battle between Black Panther and Gold Black Panther? So terrible. This is an awful rankings list. I am triggered. I am angry. I'm all the bad words. I have such a raging headache for how angry I've been getting because this is just absolutely ridiculous. This top 10 list is cursed. This might be the most cursed top 10 list. Like, the order is out of sync. There are movies on here higher than they should be. I mean, just the top 5 alone is like questionable besides one choice. So, Winter Soldier. That's it. I would have argued, if you put Winter Soldier at number 1, I may have not disagreed with that. But you put Black Panther at number 1, the most overrated of all the Marvel films. Wow. Way to end on a dud. Way to end on a fucking dud. My head hurts. It's like literally pulsating because I've been yelling and getting so angry because this rankings list is completely awful. It's complete shit. And I'm not even it's so bad. It's so bad. There are films so low that it's almost shameful they're that low. There are films so high that you go, what the fuck? How'd that happen? Who let that happen? And look, again, don't give any hate to these writers, but my God, Wilson, Prama, Christian, guys, come on. You do better next time, please. For the love of God, do better next time. This is awful. Just completely awful. So yeah, tell me what you guys think about this rankings list in the comment section below. If you have other recommendations for articles you would like me to react to that are hopefully better than this, please leave them in the comment section below. Maybe I might do those in the near future. I want to turn me reacting to articles as good or bad as these into like a regular thing I do on the channel. But anyway, I need to go. I need to get out of here. I'm mad. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you found some form of enjoyment out of this. And until the next video comes, guys, if you'd like to see more videos on the channel, be part of Black Critic Guy, please hit the subscribe button below. Like this video if you really enjoyed it. I'm Tony Watt II, fucking pissed off. And I'm the biggest Captain America fan. And even I don't think it deserved to be number 2. Okay, this clearly shows how unbiased I am. Okay? As the Black Critic Guy. Till then, Peace, YouTube.